Good morning, everyone. Ron Nicoletti along with Brian Nato. And Brian, we've been sort of saying since early December that we'd never have any rain around here. Well, we got buckets full last night, so we're not going to be on the turf today. We got working on the main track. Of course, the greatest thing is we got the all-weather Tapeta today to help us out, a 9-race card. But before we get into all of that, what a great day it was yesterday.
It really was. 5 graded stakes, all for 3-year-olds yesterday. And again, I said it many times, we start the path to the Florida Derby on April 1st, and Rocket Can sure did, right?
Rocket Can. You know what I love about Gulfstream Park? Everybody's watching the Holy Bull, but you never know. 3rd race, 4th race. You might see a champion. So we're going to talk about that a little later on. There was some really nice horses that ran yesterday on both turf and the main track that may have not been, the marquee horses of the day, but they certainly turned out to be something like that.
Yeah, Tappet Trice was awesome, winning a really good allowance race for 3-year-olds, and he's going places. He's 18-1 now in Vegas for
18-1.
18-1 for
wow.
Kentucky Derby. So
I might have to get a little bit of that.
They are aware of him. We'll show it in the lightning round, and Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado. It's their world, and we're just part of the ride, huh?
Yeah, just part of the ride. I actually set the bill in the winning circle. I'll probably see here again next week. What a run they've had. Of course, they won the Pegasus last week, and yesterday win the Holy Bull. Junior Alvarado, one of the nicest guys around, riding both those winners.
Well, we saw him on the. We were walking somewhere else after the card, and we saw him on the way over taking pictures and selfies with people. I mean, this was probably 25 minutes after the Holy Bull, and just a good guy, and kudos to him.
Yeah, and he got his 2,000 just a couple of days ago. So getting to the first race today, it's going to be off the turf, as we mentioned. It's going to be contested at about mile and a 16th on the Tapeta. These are maiden claiming fillies and mares, 4 and up, $20,000. Had a couple of scratches in here of the 2 Lynn Pier and the number 3 Miscreant, and Brian put an early pick 5 ticket together, and we'll check it out.
It's a reworked early pick 5 ticket. There's no doubt about that. $12. We kind of ease into the card a little bit here, and I'll go 4 deep in this race, 2 deep in race number 2, number 6. Now, those picks didn't change. 62 was always the order for me. The race 3 off the turf certainly reworked that one, and that is the order, 1, 2, 1, 3, 4 on, and then back-to-back singles. I reworked these races as well. Black Ice, I mean, I lost my best bet of the day in there with rebate. It's now or never for Black Ice, I would think. Yeah. She looks like she's in a really good spot. And then this one was a rework as well. I had a long shot in there, and I went now to the 5-horse for Jerry O'Dwyer. It's just a $12 ticket, Ron, and we'll kind of ease into the fray here a little bit on this Sunday card.
Yeah, that 5, Oski Wow.
No, you said it. I was a little worried about saying it.
Well, Pete's going to say it throughout the afternoon. You can imagine, especially if your horse is in front getting to this race here. I got the number 7. I had him on top in the turf, and I had her on top in the turf and kept her there, Gurley the Butcher, who goes to the Tapeta in a mile and a 16. Responded in that first race after claim by Claudio Gonzalez with that second-place finish. Of course, that was going 7.5 on the turf. I just respect the connections, and after reworking the race, I said, I'm going to leave this horse on top, and it looks like you did too.
I did. I had 71 the whole time, so I did leave it in these lower-level races. I don't change a lot on the surface switch. And she's got proven Tapeta form anyway, and she's now going to run on the Tapeta for Claudio Gonzalez for the first time. He claimed her 2 back, really moved her up last time, just missed on the turf. I don't like the 0 for 14 with 6 underneath finishes, but if you just take her start with Claudio, it's better than anything she's ever done.
The number 1, Kit Can Run, who's currently the even money favorite, is the daughter of Kitten's Joy, also stretches out, returned from a long layoff of about 13 months, finished that closing 4th behind Gurley the Butcher that day, but it's Mark Cassie. He's one of the best going from turf to Tapeta or whatever it's the situation.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is now, you can say this horse didn't do a lot of running on debut on Tapeta, but it was her debut, 2 turns. We've talked about this time and time again. It's really hard to win on debut going 2 turns. The other thing is, too, maybe she got nicked up after that race because now she went to the sidelines for well over a year. Well, she's back. She ran very, very well off a really, a 14-month layoff, so she should be favored in here.
And the number 4, Ria Formosa, 2 for 3 in the money on the Tapeta. It's as simple as that for me to put
exactly. I'm with you.
Let's go to race number 2 this afternoon. This was going to be 7 furlongs on the main track. These are claimers, fillies and mares, 4 and up, non-winners of 3 and or a race since August 4th, 20 down to 16. Did have a couple of scratches in here of the number 1, La Chica Lateral, and the number 4, Beyond Magic. And Samantha put an early pick 4 ticket together, so we'll take a look at that. And, yeah, she's going to single a 2 in here, Penn Street. We got a stat on that horse. Well, she went with Brian's favorite thing, the all button in race number 3. And then she's 3 deep in race number 4. Of course, she's got black ice. And like you said, it's black ice's day.
Lord.
And she's got some covered in there with Action Gene. And she also used your horse, the number 5, Oski Wow Wow. So $22.50. And, you know, probably a good thing here. I don't know who you put on top, Brian. I did have the 5 on top, so I'll start it there. A reclaim by Rohan Crichton steps up the competition. Just got caught at the wire against those 12-5 condition claimers. And, you know, we always talk about this. Reclaims.
It's a big move.
Big move, so I threw this one on top of the ticket.
Yeah, I thought, you know, this is a pretty good class rise for this one, though, too. And the big win 2 back was in the 2L ranks, and now she meets tougher. Certainly a major player. You know, Rohan's got the 2 Penn Street as well. This is the first time in quite some time, and maybe even since I've been down here for a couple of years now, Rohan's struggling a little bit.
He's very streaky, too. He
Yeah.
wins some, then he goes back. And now, you did put the number 6, I don't know if you had it on top all along,
No.
Eris Indy. He was third off the bench for Terry Pompey this afternoon.
Yeah, I thought that this race, you know, at Penn Street, I had interest in, and Eris Indy had a trip last time, would be a square price in here as well. You lose a lot of value with the scratches, but I wanted to go with her on top because I said, you know, Rohan's struggling a little bit to get to the winner's circle. The horses are running okay, just getting there first and getting their picture taken, and maybe this is a good time to try to beat a couple horses. They're going to be underlaid prices too, especially Penn Street.
And yeah, the Penn Street, you know, drops to this level, finished 1 pace third against those 35 condition claimers. They found the stat in Rohan Crichton. This is third start after a 180-day plus lay of sprints claimers on the dirt. He's 22 for 110, so it's a big sampling. It's good, 20%, 61% in the money. 146 is the return of investment, and just something to put out there. And if you I think the 2's the one to beat in here, the way I see it, just on the drop. So we'll see how that plays. Now, the third race this afternoon was originally scheduled for the turf at 1 mile and 16th, now to be run on the Tapeta at about 1 mile and 16th. Maiden claim is 4 and up, 20,000. Had 3 scratches in here of the 2 Tactical Force, the 6 Tepper, which was my top pick, and the 7 Play Arrow. So as we're going to hear us say a lot, we reworked these races this morning when we got the scratches, and I ended up, Brian, with the 1 Media Sensation, who's going to break from the rail, rally to finish a solid third. It was against this. It was going 7.5 on the turf for Kathleen O'Connell. Hey, Junior Alvarado with the controls. This horse ran well on Tapeta 2 starts back.
Yeah, that's the race I was looking at, too, so I moved him up to the top pick as well. You see it right there, and he doesn't need to drop too far out of it. Draws well to save the ground inside. Junior is riding so well right now. Kathleen's picked it up a little bit as well, so I kind of felt at the end of the day this would be the horse to beat.
You know, Fort Dunkel, I thought was a logical contender, beating only a head against 20 maidens, going a mile on the turf, 2 starts back, drops, broke from a really tough post last time. Never really got on track in that race against those optional claimers. You know, Francis Capitelli, Jose Ortiz in the saddle today. A lot of guesswork with this one.
There is. We had the replay. I nixed it because it was on the turf, and Dunkel didn't do a lot of running, but he didn't have the best of trips either, and that was significantly run. That was a 40 maiden claimer. That's a good group. This is much, much lighter than that. You get a jock switch here to Jose Ortiz. That could be significant as well. Dunkel, though, now we're 0 for 14, and the losses are starting to add up. You got to tread a little lightly there.
Well, the number 3 you have in second is Sleepy Chipmunk. This one from Jose D'Angelo is bond ridden today by Luis Saez, who had a great day yesterday.
Yeah, he did, winning the stakes, and I think this horse is a player as well. Second start for Jose, but first start on the Tapeta for Jose, and it seemed like he got a lot out of this horse last time on the turf for 20, so we'll see what we get today. We like the job Jose does, and, you know, with Luis in the irons as well, I think that's a positive.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have my Rainbow 6 ticket this afternoon, and we'll see how it plays out.
This is a championship meet. Yeah. All the best jockeys in the world are here, and I'm excited to ride against them.
We back.
And you get to watch some really incredible, talented athletes out there.
Yeah.
To us, it's a place to be in the winter.
I love Gulfstream Park because of the racing.
The palm trees, the beach is right here. The horse racing is some of the best in the country.
A lot of good horses come out of here. And if you want to go to the next level, Gulfstream Park was the place to come.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place. All the history. And all these great horses, trainers, jockeys. It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Brian here. The fourth race, 1 mile and 1/16 about on the Tapeta. Maiden claiming filly, 3-year-olds. Did have a scratch in here of the number 8 rebate. $250,000 gross jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six. Let's take a look at my ticket. I got lucky and actually hit one yesterday.
That's right.
Hit for my $43 ticket, paid $200, and there's people on the Twitter telling me it wasn't good.
Well, you know how I knew you hit it?
All right.
You tweeted out that you hit it.
Oh yeah, well no, I did. I had to. You know why? It's been so long.
There's been some office discussions that is faux pas.
Yeah, but I put finally. On
Okay. Okay.
I put finally.
All right.
So don't listen to him. We're going to we'll talk about the fourth race in a minute. Fifth race, I got the 1 and 2 Action Dream and the 2 On Jet Air from Mary Epler. In race number 6, got some coverage in there with the Typee, Lebu, and the number 4 Lady Bet. That was moving off the turf to be on mile 70 on the Tapeta. Race number 7, I went with Mama Strong to 5, singing the oldies in Angelic Gal for Kathleen O'Connell. In race number 8, Charge It is back. This is one special horse. You know, looks like he's going to be awful tough in it. That's my single, probably the universal single. And in the last, off the turf, but I kept my top pick, Love Rhapsody, on Soviet Access and Solicitation for me. $43.20. Getting back to this race, as you mentioned, it's either the 9 or everybody in this fourth race.
Boy, oh boy, I moved her up. I lost my best bet. I liked rebate in here. Black Ice, this is your day now. It's now or never. 6 to 5 on the morning line. Quite possibly will be odds on here now. And she's impossible to trust. She's also the most, aside from Charge It, she's probably the most likely winner on the card.
Yeah, you would think so. I went deep and I figured, if she doesn't win, it could be anybody's race in here. Marissa the Princess for Antonio Sano didn't run badly last time out to finish 4th behind Black Ice. But if you read the trouble line, bump start, flattened out a little bit. Maybe this horse comes back and runs a little better today.
She's the one. If it's not Black Ice, anybody else to me is super improbable. No. She's the one. She's got open lengths to make up on Black Ice, but it was her first start routing. It was her first start on the Tapeta since her debut. And first start with Lasix too. So it seems like Antonio Sano's got her going. Has her going in the right direction. She's the one if it's not Black Ice.
And Royal Jubilee, first time for Jose D'Angelo. You're getting Jose Ortiz dropping to 12-5 level. It's a connection play for me.
It is, but Gilberto Zerpa's pretty sharp in it himself and didn't get a lot of run out of this filly. Maybe it's the Lasix that helps her too, but she seems like a little bit of a reach.
That is race number 4. Now we're going to go to race number 5 here. And race number 5 this afternoon will be 6 furlong claimer, 4 nominals of 2, 6,250 scratch. My top 2 picks scratched out of here, Moped Dennis and Gone Nuts.
Same.
I had it in that exact order, 3 and 7. So Samantha put a late pick 5 ticket together, and we'll take a look at it right now. And she's got $36, and she went 1-4-5 in here, which seems right. We'll talk about that. Lots of coverage in race number 6, Brian.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's a good race too. Now, obviously, unfortunately, I should say, it's off the turf, but that's a good maiden special weight. You see it there. She's 2 deep in race 7. The international, good thing.
Yeah.
Charge It. Okay,
yeah.
He's singled in race 8. I can't wait to see him. He looked like an absolute tank here in the walking ring the other day when Ronnie and I were doing some videos. And then another good one in the finale. Unfortunately, again, we're off the turf, but that's a good maiden special weight. The beauty of the Tapeta, this race stuck together. We only had 1 scratch out of there. So a $36 ticket for Samantha, and she'll be out with us a little bit later on as well.
Yeah, I went with, as I said, missed my first 2 selections here, got scratched out, so I bumped up, actually, the number 1, Action Dream. It drops, turns back after setting the pace, fading to finish 5th. It was behind those Moped Dennis, going 6.5. It's Arno Dober, Sonny Leone at the controls, and we'll see how this one runs. I mean, the race is his horses to lose. I understand the 5 being on your top of your ticket, too.
Well, I never do this, but with the scratches, I thought the complexion of this race changed so significantly. The one was initially my long shot on the day, okay? Now the value is completely gone, and then with the scratches, too, the pace of this race, I thought changed quite a bit, too. So I actually ended up going with Usky Wow Wow because you look at the dirt races, and they were just so much better than this field, and the value again is gone on Action Dream. I wanted 12, 15 to 1 on this horse, so I just kind of felt now in a shorter field with a good post position, Oski Wow Wow for Jerry O'Dwyer is just going to be a little too much for this group.
And you know, the number 2 horse in your Jet Air, this one has not tried the dirt. I don't know when it tried the dirt because the last 12 have been all on the Tapeta.
Yeah, you can't see it, so obviously it was in one of the first 3 starts there. You know, it has decent form, sprinting on the Tapeta, has some tactical speed to lay close as well. You don't want to drop too far out of it. We haven't really said it, but just make sure you take note how the track is playing, too. A sloppy main track, you see, maybe the inside's good, maybe speed's holding as we sift through this 9-race card. Just take note of that.
Hall of Famer Edgar Prado will be in the saddle this afternoon, so that, you know, he's been riding. He doesn't ride much, but when he does, his horses run okay.
Absolutely.
Race 6 this afternoon, originally scheduled for 1 mile on the turf, will now be run at about 1.70 miles on the Tapeta, maiden special weight. Fillies and mares 4 and up, and as Brian said, a jockey change on the number 8 horse in here, to Chantal Sutherland. But it's a good race, even though it was moved off the turf, and this is where you have your late pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, and this ticket actually stuck together because nothing changed in this sequence for me other than the surface switches, clearly. But I didn't change anything, Ron.
I didn't either.
Yeah, 4 deep here in race number 535. Again, was always the order. I'm hoping Jerry O'Dwyer has himself a good day. There's the international good thing. Charge it, the single there. And then in race number 9, we go 42. Solicitation in Soviet Express. I'll go with the experienced runners over Nana's Tiramisu, the Pletcher Rapoli homebred firster.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. Very affordable in there. And then Soviet Excess is one of your tickets there. So now getting back to this race here. Now, are we showing this video?
Yeah, we are going to show
this video. So it's Typey and Make the Boys Wink. Yeah. Who's in the video?
Yeah, so the finishing order here, okay, is 8-6-3. And again, yes, it's on turf, but I think it's significant to show. So here's Typey loose and controlling. Who wouldn't want this trip, right? On the turf, that's what you always want to be, and it's been a little speedy too. And then here's Make the Boys Wink out the back. And here's Brendan Walsh, too. I believe at this time he was 4% with first-time starters. Well, she's going to run third in here, Ron. 8-6-3. Again, your finishing order. So this race held together for the most part. I thought this, now she does sift through ups inside with no real trouble, but boy, she is running on. I thought this shows some poise and some polish for a first-time starter, coming through on the inside. Brendan, again, is not a guy that's going to crank them up at all. To me, she makes a significant move forward today. Tapeta, we've got to answer that question. They all do. But I like her in this spot, Ron.
Yeah, we'll see if she runs in. There's a couple of really nicely bred horses in this race, too. And one will be LeBeau, who's a $320,000 daughter of Mendelssohn, debuting for Christophe Command. Lasix added. You know, they're good with their first-time starters. They got this horse working well up at Payson Park. They're willing to run this one on the Tapeta. I think this one's going to run well.
Yeah, I mean, Christophe has not run a lot of horses at the championship meet. Everything the barn has sent out has been very, very live. 20% on debut as well. 16% debuting at a mile or longer. That's a big stat because you pay attention to that stat. Most barns are way down because it's hard to get horses to win at 2 turns on debut. That's a significant stat to me.
The other horse that we have is the Four Lady Beth. Yeah. It's a $390,000 daughter of Heartspun, debut for Chad Brown. He's 20% with horses debuting at a mile. He's got 10 Payson Park workouts showing in preparation for this longer way to do. And I know we talked about this in the past. Some people don't like when a horse has lots and lots of workouts. Some people think, you know, whatever the reason, they wanted to get this horse tight and fit.
Yeah, she's got plenty of them. I know Chad's 3 for 21, but he's got 10 seconds. That's, you know, he's been in the exacta about 65% of the time. It's a big sample, too. And the fact, you kind of hinted at this, the fact that they're leaving these horses in says they feel they'll handle this surface.
And then once again, the 8 will be ridden by Chantal Sutherland. Race number 7 this afternoon. This one is about 5.5 on the Peter. It's claiming fillies, 3-year-old, $16,000. The scratch, the 2, Find Your Passion, which was my top pick in there. And the 8, Conceptus, or called out of here. Brian, we'll start with you with the number 3, Singing the Oldies.
Yeah, this is the same for me. The only thing I did was rework the underneath horses here. I had it 35 the whole way. Jerry O'Dwyer, we're going to add Lasix, second off the claim. I thought this horse ran very, very well last time on a real significant rise in class, too. I mean, this horse beat 12-5 maiden claimers 2 back when Jerry claimed her, moves her right up into a spot where she can't be claimed, was a very good second. Now she's in for 16, so she's not dropping. I like this horse today. Adding Lasix, too.
The number 5 horse in here, Mama Strong, it gets Lasix today after following a game. She had a pretty game, $16,000 maiden score. It's 2 starts back. She comes back and she runs well meant second against those 16 starter optional claimers. Going this distance on it to Peter Marcassi. He's good with first-time Lasix, 22%. You're getting Luca Panici in the saddle today. Thought this was a major player, and you have it right on your ticket, too.
Yeah, because Singing the Oldies, my top pick, needs to prove the Tapeta question. Mama Strong doesn't need to do it at all. And honestly, if she runs that race back, she's probably going to win. She's probably a significant favorite in here. That's a huge, fast race, well clear of third, at least for this kind of group.
And the number 7, Angelic Gal, goes to the Tapeta for Kathleen, so it's a similar situation. Never tried it, so a little bit of guesswork, but it's run nicely and showed nice speed on the main track.
Well, you said it with the speed, and we know that plays on the Tapeta. It might be a little tighter now with the rain, too. They're going to be humming out there on the Tapeta today.
Boy, we've been waiting a long time to watch this race. We charge it back, mile into 16th. Allowance optional claimers, 4-year-olds and up. Optional claimers tag is 62,500. But the whole story is charging. And I know you wanted to show a couple of videos for this horse.
And I'm glad we're going to show the Florida Derby first, because I think Charge It was a work in progress at this point. Okay, here he is in the Florida Derby. White Abarrio, we know, is going to win this race. Now look at Charge It here, almost basically under an all-out drive. He's actually going to drop back a little bit while White Abarrio makes his winning run. But what you're going to see now in deep stretch as it's coming up, look at him here. He looks like a total fade here, Ron, like he's going plummeting to the back. He's going to re-break. He's going to find himself again. And this was just his 3rd lifetime start, first time facing winners. Point being, this is a horse just still trying to figure it out. You can tell there's a world of talent here. And now he's going to re-break. He's going to swerve in deep stretch, and he's still going to be very, very green and not really necessarily have his eyes, have everything going in one direction here. Here he's swerving in again, and Louis trying to get him out again. White Abarrio is straight and true. So that's the Florida Derby, okay? Now, that was the unfinished product. Let's fast forward to the Dwyer. The last time we saw Charge It, Ron, he's going to win this race by 23 lengths. Wait till you see this horse level out in mid-stretch. And there's nobody in here. I understand all that. That's not the point. Watch this horse just take off so impressively.
Yeah, he just was so impressive in this race. And, our office, Ed Gray, talked to Todd Pletcher. And after this race, he had grabbed a quarter, and he needed some time off, and thus the reason he's coming back today. And he's just a special horse. And as Brian mentioned, we saw him out here the other day. He was growling at dogs.
Oh, I loved him. He's my new favorite horse. Yeah, he's growling at the little dogs. Little dogs were barking out there, and Charge It was growling at him, so he went immediately to the top of my list. But I'm going to tell you what, Ronnie and I tweeted the videos. You can see it, where he's schooling in the paddock. He looked like a tank out there, Ron, like a bigger, stronger, meaner version, now at 4. And the handicap division is there for the taking, and I know our art collector, kind of vaunted to the front of it. This horse is heck to pay this year. I can't wait to see him.
Let's show a stat with Mr. Todd Pletcher with a layoff of 180 days or longer on the dirt at Gulfstream Park. You're not going to believe it's so good. 30 for 87, 34%, 54% in the money, and somehow still a positive return of investment.
Amazing. And, I'm not going to tell you there's a lot of Charge It's in this sample, because he's a potential, champion this year. But Todd brings these kind of horses back a lot, and you can see it by the stat there. They fire big shots, and this is name the score kind of time today.
And, number 7, Vittorio, now in the Red Hot Belmont barn, debuts, makes his East Coast debut. Yeah. And the son of Ghost Happer was pretty cool out in California, going both long and short against allowance competition. Good Billy's going. He's 25% with new additions to his shed row. And Martin Garcia in town to ride. We didn't get a jockey change, so Martin Garcia in town to ride.
I'd almost want to ask Bill if this is the first horse for Kaleem Shah that he's ever trained. That's a high percentage, high-profile, big-name owner out in California with Simon Callahan, who had this horse. This horse has a couple good races showing right now. I don't think that he's going to get to the level of Charge It, but he's a very, very talented horse in and of his own right.
And, Clapton just makes me nuts.
Yeah.
Sometimes I bet this horse he runs great. Other times he doesn't. Beating a half length at this level, 2 starts back, tries to rebound. He had that chase and fade outing in the Grade 3 Harlan's Holiday last out. Junior Alvarado rides for Juan Alvarado. And I just thought that Clapton, if he runs his A game, he could be right there.
He's a cool horse. He's going to probably pass 300,000 in earnings today. I mean, you don't sleep on Clapton, that's for sure. Let's be honest. Maybe they catch Charge It on an off day. Maybe, he's clearly not going to be cranked for this. There's bigger spots down the road. And he's also going to be about 1 to 9.
You were going to go to race number 9 right now, and it's off the turf. It's going to be running at about 1.70 miles on the Topita Maiden Special Weight fillies in here. And my long shot on the day when it was on the turf, wasn't going to be that much of a long shot. But once again, I'm hoping that Rowan Crichton has a big day, stretching out to this distance of 1.70 miles. Responded to the surface switch and the addition of Lasix with that second, albeit it was on the grass. Rowan Crichton, Paco Lopez in the saddle today.
I had a big positive on this horse. Now, I couldn't get her into the mix. I thought there were a few maybe a little bit better than her, but I thought she ran really well in a race that kind of came back to her, and she was sticking around right to the very end.
You went with Christophe on top of your ticket with the 4 Solicitation.
There's some well-bred first-time starters in here, the 5 and the 6, but I went with the experience edge that Solicitation has. I thought she ran pretty well on debut, and maybe a race that she needed, and didn't get the best of trip that day either when she was kind of nagged, or maybe did the nagging close and on to the lead.
The number 2 horse in here, Soviet Access, is stretching out today around 2 turns. It'll be on the Topita after recovering sort of a slow start. You can't break slow. Finished an okay 4th, going 5 on the turf. It's a daughter of Uncle Mo, certainly bred to love the longer distance.
Well, that's the thing. And my note says here that she was 1 paced in the stretch, and she probably wants more ground. She gets it today. I think that was a means to an end to start her off for Todd Pletcher. And that was a pretty decent race, too. Surecat comes back to win and was good in that race especially, and Daisy Doozy was in the stakes the other day, so I think this is the horse to beat today.
And that is the 9 races, but boy, what a lightning round we have this
Don't go away.
Don't go away. Keep your, the people don't know what a dial is anymore on the TV, so I've been dating myself. We'll kick it off first with the Swale Stakes General Jim. Charge is late to win. It was pretty nice. We'll pick up the stretch run of this race, and you can just see it. Thought he ran a pretty good race. Super Chow doing the drifting out in the stretch once again, but Louis was steadfast and got this horse up.
Yeah, and I said it when a Hall of Fame trainer makes an equipment change like Shug McGahee did, he put blinkers on this horse. You watch the race in the Mucho Macho Man. I don't think he necessarily wanted to come through on the inside in that race, and Shug put the blinkers on, and I think it made a difference in the stretch there. Super Chow, he's always so game.
Remember early on in the show at the beginning we said that we got great thing about Gulfstream, we get to see horses in other races, and that was the case with Tapit Trice, trained by Todd Pletcher. Boy, was he impressive, this horse.
I would like to think he's probably the horse to beat in the Florida Derby right now because Shesterkin got the trip. I mean, look at the fractions, okay? When Shesterkin is 2-path, I don't even want to say pressing, just stalking, and he's 4 to 5. He was supposed to win, and this horse just absolutely just demolished him at a 1-turn mile. I think he wants to run a lot farther and get another turn in there.
No, he was absolutely. What bar figure did he
91
get?
is what he ran, and I think he was probably in the 75 range in the morning, and he's 18 to 1 now in the future books. So.
The Coast to Coast. Pick 5 is back this afternoon with that 15% takeout. And there's the schedule. It kicks off race 8 at Gulfstream Park. And we also got races 8, 9, and ours are separated by race 2 at Santa Anita. And you see the 6th and 7th at Santa Anita. So if that's your ilk, get in Don't forget to bet it. It'll be race 8. You got to remember.
And the other thing, too, at Santa Anita today, they're going to pay out their rainbow today. They're talking $3 million in the pool, maybe more. You know me, I always go over. Just a point of reference, they bet $6.2 million last week here. So they're going to fire out there. So take note of that on their card as well.
Oh, that's right. You got the mandatory payout today. Let's go and watch a Major Dude win the Kitten's Joy for Todd Pletcher. What a day he had with 4 wins. So Major Dude here, you're going to see him just, just runs a great race in here and just comes on at the end and just was game. I'm trying to think of a better adjective, but he just ran a very good race.
Honestly, I thought the top 4 finishers also all ran very good races. The runner-up didn't get the loose lead like we thought. Dude in Colorado facing winners trying turf for the first time ran very well. And Bapiel hadn't been out since last year, and he was pressing and tired like a horse that might have needed a race. I think all 4 of those horses are worth remembering going forward.
And we're going to go now with the forward girl with Red Carpet Ready. Was just so impressive. Went into her race there, so you could see right on the front. But she was challenged early on, and she just shook off at the end. I thought that she was going to get overtaken, by the 7, it looked like, who was actually my top pick in the race. But she just said, nope, and just drew off again.
Yeah, she's a nice horse, Ron. 3 for 3 now, all of them by open length. She stumbled at the start, too, and then just dragged herself right into the race, and that was a good group she beat. And I talked to Rusty Arnold after the race, and he says, and everybody in the connections as well, just think that she wants to run farther, too. So a lot of excitement. Hopefully we see her in the Devona Vidal.
And you wouldn't believe the performance of Cairo Consort in the Swedish Chant. We're going to show you the stretch, but if you saw the beginning, this horse spotted the field, broke badly in there slowly, whatever the reason was, it just comes flying in the stretch. No one thought this horse after the break would win. Just look at this horse gobbling up the turf and coming in there, of course. Just an incredible performance by that horse. And, of course, another one from Todd that day. That was good.
I was so dead set against this horse, and I was dead set against this horse if she had a good trip. She had the worst trip of the month probably, and that was breathtaking turn of foot there in deep stretch.
And, of course, now we're going to take off with Rocket Can. And this was just winning of the Holy Bull Stakes for Mr. Todd Pletcher. For Billy Mott, excuse me. And just so incredible in here. And as you said, stamps himself. He's a major player now for the Florida Derby.
Well, Fountain of Youth and Florida Derby will run it right back in 4 weeks in the Fountain of Youth over the track and over the distance as well. Bill Mott running with the runner-up, the New York bred as well.
He was happy.
He really was.
He was happy about that horse.
Your award-winning interview there. You asked him. Of course, you're talking about the winner. You asked him about that horse. He really beamed up too.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you said no. We got to separate them. So we'll see where that other one goes. Maybe one of those races up in New York for that horse being a New York bred.
Yeah, but boy, Bill is just flexing his Hall of Fame muscles here the last few months. And I always say with Todd or Bill, they're in the Hall of Fame for a million different reasons. You've been seeing it front and center here at the championship meet the last couple of weeks. He's winning the Pegasus World Cup with a 6-year-old, getting the race of his life, and then Candyman as well now, a Triple Crown contender.
Well, we got our own Hall of Famer here, Pete Aiello. He's going to give you all the scratches, changes you need to have a great day. Of course, Brian and I will be here throughout the afternoon. Samantha will be joining us. Claudia will be joining us. So it'll be a fun day, and make sure you come join us throughout the afternoon.
We're ready for the start. They're off.